Welcome back to College Esports Today. My name is Sheridan, and I am bringing you the latest headlines in college esports this past week. As always, I encourage you to check out our website for more in-depth coverage or College Esports Today extended episodes for deeper dives into the latest trending topics. And fair warning, there will be a little bit of whiplash between the headlines that we are discussing today. Fisher College is the first ever collegiate team to compete in a Tier 1 Counter-Strike event, qualifying for the PGL Astana in Kazakhstan. They joined teams like G2 Esports, Mouse, Furia, Team Falcons, and more from May 9th through the 17th. We're seeing more and more collegiate teams compete on the Tier 1 stage, which is extremely exciting. Hayden Kim from College Counter is currently working on a story highlighting Fisher's team, so be on the lookout for that when it drops. Good luck to Fisher. Last Monday, Georgia Tech celebrated the grand opening of their Georgia Tech Esports and Gaming Lounge at their campus recreation center. The space features a high-performance open play area with top gaming PCs, a dedicated broadcast and streaming room, a competitive practice arena for esports teams, and console gaming for a well-rounded, accessible experience. This is a huge development not only for esports in the state of Georgia, but also for Division I and ACC schools. UC Irvine Esports released an app for their program, the first college esports app out there. The app allows UC Irvine students to see the hours of their esports arena, upcoming events, and reserve PCs. This is pretty cool, and I can see why it would be helpful for a school or a program to have an app like this. In late March, Syracuse Esports announced Lost City, the new premier collegiate Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Invitational hosted at the Atlantis Resorts in the Bahamas. The Invitational will take place from November 5th through the 8th. Lost City's application reads, "The first day will be for teams to travel to the Atlantis and enjoy the countless amenities and programming. Competition will begin on Friday with an all-day singles bracket and will continue on Saturday with a collegiate cruise bracket." It also includes an important disclaimer. Attendance to Lost City is restricted to programs that book their stay at Atlantis Resorts. Teams must book at least 4 nights at the resort in order to attend the event. This disclaimer isn't super surprising considering a large part of the event is promoting tourism to the Bahamas and the Atlantis Resort specifically, and it's good that they put the disclaimer in the application ahead of time instead of springing it on attendees later. So just a quick glance at prices right now. There is an average of $258 a night for the Coral at Atlantis, $370 at the Royal, $279 at the Harborside Resort. And this is not including if there's any special discount for attendees or a hotel block or resort fees or any of that good stuff. So keep those in mind. Definitely a luxury experience like they mentioned in the application. And those applications are due on April 30th. We'll definitely all be envious of the teams headed to Nassau later this year. We are going to be dealing with some much heavier news. One of the first esports programs at a Division I school, Miami University in Ohio, announced the closure of their varsity esports program at the end of their academic year. Their esports program launched in 2016 after 2 student club members proposed it in 2015, and their program launched shortly after that with backing from their department. The varsity program's closure directly impacts 74 current program members, including players, production volunteers, as well as staff members. Their statement reads, "Despite our administration's close ties to the broader scholastic esports community, the program was never provided with a sustainable funding model and has had to utilize donations, partnerships, and grants to sustain our operations for the past 2 years. Unfortunately, those donations and partnerships have run their course." As for their esports space on campus, the esports lounge will remain, but the future of the esports spaces in their King Library and their student center are still to be determined. Some fear that the closure of the Miami program could impact other schools in the MAC. The Miami University Esports Club, of roughly 120 members, will continue. Obviously, this is very heartbreaking news, and Miami isn't the first and certainly won't be the last of these programs shutting down. Earlier last week, Saginaw Valley State University Esports put out a statement sharing that their esports program will be undergoing some organizational transitions as they close out this semester. In their statement, they detailed upcoming changes, including there will be no further funding of competitive programming indefinitely. Students will still be able to register teams within the SVSU esports program. The students on each team will be responsible for managing rosters, hosting tryouts, registering for competitions, covering league fees, requesting time in the esports center, and all other operational items. Student Life will be hosting more robust events for the SVSU esports community. These events include biweekly gaming events, tournaments, social outings, and more. They cite several contributing factors for these decisions, including significant reductions in resources and funds dedicated to the program, reduced interest from students, particularly underclassmen in competitive offerings, reduced capacity for competing in nationally recognized competitions such as the GLIAC Esports Championship Tournament, and an increase in interest for community-oriented programming. Earlier in the fall semester, College Esports News covered the closure of a variety of college esports programs, and when we published it, we knew this news would not be the last that we're hearing of esports closures. I encourage you to check out the College Esports Landscape is Changing, What's Next by Kara Chiswell on our website. Let's get into some results from this past weekend. Here are your CRL standings going into the last week of competition. Maryville, St. Clair, Northwood, and Fisher are your current top 4. Additionally, we have the CRL Last Chance qualified teams from Open 3v3s. These are your top 8 point earners who will be joining the bottom 12 CRL teams in the Last Chance qualifier. George Mason, Columbia, Bruton Parker, St. Clair Saints Gold, OC Esports, Davenport University, T-Grace UANL, and LCU Blue. CLOL Regional Grand Finals are coming up this weekend featuring St. Clair versus University of Quebec, Montreal in East, Winthrop versus Ole Miss in the South, Maryville versus TBD in the North, Weber State versus UCI Esports in the West. We've also got the CVAL Regional Grand Finals that are also coming up. In the North, we have Maryville versus TBD, Fisher Navy versus Stony Brook Esports in the East, Winthrop versus TBD in the South, and UCI versus TBD in the West. Congratulations to Kennesaw State. They are your Peach Belt Conference Valorant champions. On the League of Legends side, Converse took the win over Kennesaw, becoming the Peach Belt Conference League of Legends champions. And last but certainly not least, Akron are your Rally Cry Collegiate R6 champions. Thank you so much for watching this episode of College Esports Today. Be sure to subscribe and follow for more college esports news.